Maybe... yeah, let's go with this one. Hey everybody, it's that time of week for another Silver Reviews. This week, Iron Man. First off, I want to say I'm sorry for last week. I spent more time talking about anime than I should have, and instead we didn't get enough time to focus on what Rurouni Kenshin's strengths and weaknesses were, and I feel like I didn't do you a good job. So this week, I'm gonna stick to just talking about Iron Man, and if you still don't know what anime is by this point, go look it up on Wikipedia. That's about all I can say for you. In the past few years, my favorite superheroes have been a toss-up between Iron Man and Batman, both of which are pretty similar in the sense that they're both rich guys with a lot of expensive toys. As a kid, it used to be Spider-Man. He was an awesome character with a bunch of cool villains to fight, but then recent years have kind of treated him badly with a shitty third movie that fans kind of ruined, and a reboot by some British guy playing the new Parker. I don't know, I'm just not looking forward to any of that. With Iron Man, it's a big battle between who can get the most attention, him or Batman. With Batman having a new cartoon every 5 years, Iron Man's gotta get into that zone sooner or later. I'm sure all the fans have been wanting to get a new, streamlined version of Iron Man cartoons, right? So, it took one anime studio to step up and take this project, and the result? A resounding meh. When I think of all the problems Iron Man the anime has, I can't help but think that if this had been animated by American studios and written by American studios, that it probably would have gone a hell of a lot better. First off, the main bad guy is a group called Zodiac, a bunch of techno junkies who have something against Iron Man. It's not really explained well yet, other than the fact that they think he's some kind of criminal, which a lot of people thought of in the first movie, and that got resolved, so why are we still talking about it now? Rather than doing someone traditional like, say, the Mandarin, or that dragon guy, I forget his name, something Fu, rather than doing them, we end up getting some half-assed versions of anti-Iron Man robots, and as a result, we just get some really boring fights. On top of that, a lot of the supporting cast is also pretty lame too. We have Pepper Potts who makes brief cameos, but that's not really saying much, seeing as how we only see her maybe once in every 4 or 5 episodes, and she only gets maybe 2 seconds of screen time. There's also some scientist chick, I really don't know how to describe her, she's just not very interesting. Then you have some reporter that keeps following Tony around, and she's just annoying. There's also some other characters too, like Wolverine makes a contractual appearance because he's going to get his own animated series here shortly. Be looking out for that. There's also the return of Jensen from his untimely death. What he's doing here, I have no idea. Best I can say is that the animators wanted to piss boiling oil all over the original storyline of him dying and Tony becoming a better person. I don't know, looking back on that just makes me really pissed off as a fan of the Iron Man series. You go through all this change in Tony's life, and it all ends up coming back in his face to say, sorry Tony, you're still not good enough. Why don't you go just get the fuck out of here and let's just get some other hero in here like Batman. But I think the worst problem is not even the writing, but animation itself. You know in how certain animes they'll have 3D images within the 2D universe? Well, let me tell you, I hate it when they do that. In fact, that's probably the worst style of animation I've seen ever. It's never really pulled off well, and I think the biggest problem is that you're trying to put in something that doesn't fit within a 2D environment. It just makes everything look fake around it. Take, for example, the Transformers Energon trilogy they had on a few years ago. When they started off, they were all in the 2D format, and that looked pretty cool. Then they went to the 3D format, and everything looked absolutely terrible. It was probably the worst Transformers I've ever seen. I'm even counting that Transformers animated crap we just recently had to go through. But then you take something like Naruto, and here's a good example when we have Gaara vs. Rock Lee. Instead of having the characters 2D, they have the environment in the background in 3D, and that actually makes it look a lot cooler. The environment looks a lot deeper, and the characters stay consistent, so that way you don't have to get all disoriented when a character goes from 3D to 2D, and it just makes the fight look more consistent too. Whereas if we had the characters in 3D and the background in 2D, it would just look extremely fake. It would be like if we stuck action figures in front of a mat or something. Since we have just some random guy on YouTube doing that, we don't need some Japanese anime studio called Madhouse to do that for us. In conclusion, Iron Man could be good, but it really isn't. It doesn't really use the original material well. At the same time, we're stuck with a really poorly animated version of a series that could have been excellent. I'm not looking forward to seeing what Wolverine and Blade are going to offer, or the animated X-Men for that matter. With what we have, I'm assuming we're going to have some really bad Marvel serials out for quite some time. Well, that's all I have for this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week.